It's what I call the fairy grove, and when people are needing a little bit of help, taking a look at where they are, if they're not aware of what it is, I come out here and I sit with them, and the answer comes. It's like divining ceremonies that we did with the Mamos down on the mountain in Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
James was involved in one of those. Because everybody in the circle gets a little piece of the information. There have been about 12 people there, and it's almost like running something through a computer, the question, and then the computer puts all the answers together for the question, and then the old man sitting in the front there who's leading the ceremony, he says, okay, here's the computer printout, this is the answer. And then he said, this is what a real democracy is like. Everybody gets to input their information. Yeah, sacred breath, the breath of life. That was what that was. This is all in the language of the people of that mountain. And it's a language that came all the way from Atlantis with those people. When the main part of Atlantis went down, and the mountain that stayed up carrying those indigenous people floated down and became the north coast of Colombia. The sacred water. Jaya Duniya yo hey yo hey yo hey yo hey yo hey. And that sacred transforming fire. Other people call that grandfather sun. Others call it sister sun. It's through those people on that mountain I came to see that the sun had a wound. And that all of us were here, even the ones taking this video, were here and there. And we all had a hand in bringing the sun into being. So that place on that mountain there, the Ceremonial village where you first go to when you go up there, Nabusimaki, called the place where the sun was born. So, and that sun is Jui. Juya o dunya yo hey yo hey. Juya o dunya yo hey yo hey. Hey yo hey. Good. Yeah, that's a song that was given to me on that mountain. It's a song I sang to Mamo when he came back to life. Last time James and I went to that mountain, we were called there to go see him, and he just kept calling and calling. Grandmother Earth, called Mother Earth. She's been here 6 billion years. I'm sure she's a grandmother. And when we got there to the top of the mountain, where I'd been with his family many times, we see all these people dressed in white, and James and I went down there and they're going, who are you guys? What are you doing here? I said, well, I'm Mamo Muneva's brother, and we were asked by him to be here, and they pointed out in the middle of an arbor, and Mamo Muneva was wrapped up in his burial clothes. And so we left, James and I, and we walked up to the top of the mountain, so we didn't want to be disturbing anything or anybody's consciousness there. And while we're sitting there, a woman who's helped me many times on that mountain, her name's Chiki, and she just says, Taquaya, come on, let's go. Mamo Muneva has told the people that when you get here, he will be healed. My jaw just kind of dropped open, and I'm going, now what's this all about? So we followed her back down the mountain, and she took us right to the family home of Mamo Muneva. And we're taken inside, the entire family's there, about 12 of them. And there Mama Moneva is on the floor of the dirt floor in the fireplace. So that's where the fire's transforming. I just looked up at the sky and put my hand up and I said, okay, you guys, you got me into this, now do something. So I went over and kneeled down next to him and felt his pulse, no heartbeat, no respiration going on, but he was warm. It's almost like the state that a yogi will go into when they go into that place where you can't register any of the critical signs, but they're still alive. And that's where he was, in there. So I just bent over to his ear and I said, okay, Mama Moneva, I know you're in there now. Come out and see us here. Nobody heard me saying that. And then I sang this song to him. Vita Coco, the Star Nations, fully populated, every one of those stars. Vita Coco. Sat there for a long time, nothing happened. James was just sitting there observing. Then finally I got up and went to the other side of his body, and I'm looking right into the family's faces now, and I can see James standing there, and still no respiration, nothing going on, just like limp. That's for the 16 dimensions that we all live within. So I said to Spirit, I said, look, I'm totally getting myself out of this. I'm going to be quiet, I'm going to be of a blank mind, and you do your work, okay? And so after 2 or 3 hours of sitting there that way, all of a sudden, Mama Moneva opened his eyes. James said he jumped out of his skin when it happened like that. And I started crying, because this old man, I've told you, about how an old man there would take me out to sit on a rock for 16 hours. And so I could see the telepathic ability that we all have to experience that again. In a quiet voice, in his language, he said, Sequoia, thank you for coming all the way down from Canada. I knew you would come. I wouldn't go on anywhere until you got here. What he basically said was, I wasn't going anywhere till you got here. I have something to do that you're involved in. And he said to the people, I want you to know that Sequoia is indigenous. That, he's lived on this mountain, and that he and I have the same grandfather. And there's going to come a time when Sequoia and I raise our grandfather up from the earth. I have no idea what that means. I'm just there, and whenever this occurs, I'll be there to take part in that. Long ago, eons ago, as he put it, the seed of peace was planted in his heart. And so his gift to the world was always to be sending that peace out to all of us. That's what he did. All of these old people up there have one discipline they work on. He says, I'm taking that eternal seed of peace that was placed in my heart, and I'm transferring it to Sequoia's heart. Yeah, so I cried again. Yeah. And he says, your responsibility, Sequoia, is to take peace to the north, and that you will have all of the resources you need to do this. The power of the spirit of this mountain is behind you, the people of this mountain are behind you, and everything that you need will be provided to you to do that. It's been like that in my life ever since I got back from that particular visit 3 years ago. I've been there again since then. Then he says, I want to do a ceremony for you. He's like this. He says, I want to do a ceremony for you. We'll go up to the temple. And his wife comes over and says, no, you're not going anywhere. So I came back the next day, and he was up off the floor. He was in a hammock now. And then he did a ceremony that they do down there where they've got the longest cotton fibers in the world on that mountain. They use the cotton for cleansing, for accumulating any imbalances. It's kind of like the sage that we use. This woman there, Cheeky, he gave the cotton to her, and then she rolls it up, and she has me hold ball of that cotton in the thumb and forefinger of this hand and this hand. And then he says, I want you to go through your life and look at every imbalance you've been involved in, anything that you've been involved in that brought any pain or hurt or discomfort to anyone. Take a look at that. And I'm going, well, it shouldn't take too long. 6 hours later, I'm still sitting there doing this. And then I open my eyes and I say, that's it. And Mama Moneva says, no, it isn't. How about this? Because they already know what's inside of you. They can scan you and they know exactly what's in there. So I said, okay. So I went back into that place again. And then after I did that, what they do with those balls of cotton, cheeky, those people are the greatest weavers. I mean, they can do it without a loom. But they've got these old-fashioned, very simple looms there, but the women are looms themselves. And she took this cotton ball and started twisting it, and she came out with 2 long strands of thread with all these prayers in there and all these resources in there. And then they tie it around your wrist, and you wear that on there until it falls off. So that is the highlight of a journey that James and I were on together. And I'm so thankful he was there for that. That's just a little bit that just came out from singing that song there about that journey. Vita Coco, the Star Nations, fully populated, every one of those stars. Vita Coco.